Welcome to our programming channel. Today we are going to see Server.Transfer method in ASP.NET. Server.Transfer does not change URL in the browser's address bar. Now here we have web form 1. Now we are adding one button. Double click on this button. In the click event of this button, we are taking server.transfer method. But before that, we have to take waveform 2. Right click, add new item, waveform 2, and here in waveform 2, this is waveform 2. This is waveform 2. And here in click event, server.transfer waveform2.aspx. If we see in browser, in URL, here waveform1.aspx, and if we click this button, now we are redirected on waveform2.aspx. But in browser, here there is no change. It is still showing waveform1.aspx. In this way, server.transfer does not change URL in the browser's address bar. It doesn't show the real URL where it redirects the request in the user's web browser. Now, when we click on this button, we are redirected from waveform 1 to waveform 2. But here in URL, we cannot see waveform2.aspx. Now, right click, add new item, add waveform, waveform 3. And here also, this is waveform 3. And in click event, here waveform 3. Server.transfer waveform 3.aspx. If we see in browser, now if we click on this button, we are redirected on waveform 3.aspx. But Here it is not showing waveform3.aspx in URL. Previously, when we were redirected from waveform 1 to waveform 2, at that time it was not showing waveform2.aspx in URL, and now it is not showing waveform3.aspx in URL. In this way, it does not show real URL where it redirects the request in the user's web browser. When we want that user cannot able to see where he is going or where page is redirecting, at that time we can use server.transfer method. Server.transfer method is present in click event of button which is present on waveform 1. In first point we have seen that when we were redirected from waveform 1 to waveform 2, at that time in URL waveform1.aspx was showing, means URL was not changed. And in second point we have seen that when we were redirected from waveform 1 to waveform 2, at that time URL was not showing waveform2.aspx, and now when we are redirected from waveform 1 to waveform 3, at that time URL is not showing waveform3.aspx. So in this method we cannot see real URL where page redirects. So sometimes for security purpose we can use server.transfer method. Thus sometimes we don't want that user can able to see in URL where page is redirecting, then we can use server.transfer method. It transfers current page request to another ASPX page on the same server. So we can use server.transfer method when we want to navigate between pages of same server. We cannot navigate between pages which are present on different server and domain. Now we have redirected from waveform 1 to waveform 2, waveform 1 to waveform 3. These all pages are present in the same project or present in the same server. Server.transfer http google.com. Now here we are trying to navigate or redirect from this page to google.com. If we see, click on this button, here we get the exception. Invalid path for child request http google.com. A virtual path is expected. In this way, we can use server.transfer method for navigating or redirecting within the pages which are present on the same server. Server.transfer has no round trip. So server.transfer is faster than response.redirect. If we see in browser, here right click, select inspect, and here network, click on this button. Now here we can see waveform1.aspx status 200 OK, type document, then size and time. Here we can see all the information. If we click on this, then we get all the information. Request URL, HTTP localhost, waveform1.aspx, request method, post, then status code 200 OK, and here in response this is waveform 2, and here preview, and here initiator timing. So here we can see only one entry or one request. Initially in browser, when we are on waveform1.aspx form, and when we click on button, then post request sent to waveform 1 to navigate waveform 2. So here server starts executing waveform 1. So here page life cycle of waveform 1 starts, and all the events like pre-init, init, load, all the events starts executing. And when click event executes, at that time, because of this line server.transfer waveform2.aspx, server.transfer happens or redirection happens to waveform 2. Till now, page life cycle of waveform 1 has not completed. Now, waveform 2 page object is created. Full page life cycle of waveform 2 is executed, and output HTML response is then sent to the browser, and the status code is 200 OK. In this case, browser have no any idea because transfer happens or redirection happens at server side, but browser still feels that response is coming from waveform 1, so the page is not changed in the browser URL. In this way we can see here there is no extra round trip. So in server.transfer there is only one request and there is no any extra round trip. So server.transfer is faster than response.redirect. Server.transfer preserves value of query string and form variables. Now here we are taking hyperlink, navigate URL webform2.aspx, and here question mark value is equal to have a nice day, and here come on page 2. Here this is query string value. Now from this hyperlink we can navigate on webform 2, and in webform 2 in page load here if request.query string value not equal to null, then server.transfer webform3.aspx. When we click on this hyperlink, then in page load event query string value will be checked, and then server.transfer will happen. And in webform3.aspx, in page load event of webform3.aspx, here we are taking one label id lbl check, text blank. If request.query string value not equal to null, then if request.query string value is not equal to null, then lbl check.text is equal to request.query string value, else lbl check.text is equal to sorry no value. Here we can check if values of query string can be preserved with server.transfer method or not. Run the application. Click on this hyperlink, come on page 2. Now we are navigated or redirected on webform 2, and in load event here we get query string value have a nice day. Currently we are on web form 2, and with server.transfer method we are redirecting on web form 3. Now here query string value is have a nice day. Now we are redirected on web form 3. Now here we get query string value have a nice day, and with request.query string we retrieve the value and display in this label. Here we get have a nice day. Now we are on web form 3, and with server.transfer method query string values are preserved. So we get the value on web form 3.asp. Now instead of server.transfer method we are using response.redirect method, and if we run the application, click on this hyperlink, come on page 2. Now we are on web form 2. Here we get value of query string. Then with response.redirect method we are redirecting on web form 3. Now in page load event of web form 3, here we can see there is no value. So we get the message, sorry, no value. So in this way with response.redirect, here we cannot get the value of query string. So value of query string cannot be preserved with response.redirect method. That's all for server.transfer method in ASP.NET. In our channel, there are regular uploads of programming related videos. So for latest updates, please subscribe the channel and like and share videos. Thanks for watching.